All right, so this morning I did tell you we're going to be talking a whole lot about those that are waiting. So we are navigating the waiting period for couples, special tips for their physical and mental well-being. Let me bring to the microphone right away Mrs. Tola Ajayi, who is a fertility counselor, a sex therapist and philanthropist as well. And currently, she's a clinical manager for Nordica Fertility Center right here in Lagos. Madam, it's nice to have you join us. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful. All right, then first off, you are clinical manager with Nordica Fertility Center. What do you guys do at the center?
We are Nordica Fertility Center. We have clinics in Lagos, Asaba, and Abuja. We are into IVF treatment for couples who are unable to have children. We do a lot of other things, but majorly we are into fertility treatments.
Right. Okay, so your resume here is very, very rich, speaking about your experience of over 40 years. So tell me, how would you describe, infertility index for couples in Nigeria? Is it very, very high?
Oh, very, very high. All over the world, yes, very, very high. 1 in 4, I would say 1 in 4 of every couple will have infertility challenges. The incidence is about, let's say, 30% in women, 30% in men, and another 30% as a couple together. That's the challenges between the man and the woman, another 30%. Yeah.
Right. So my layman view, and perhaps the layman view of so many people out there, is that they would rather ascribe 60% to women and 30% to men.
That's very wrong. That's the assumption, and that's the narrative that we're trying to change. It's very, very wrong. 30% for women, 30% for men. Then as a couple, maybe the challenges from both of them, another 30%. Then we have another maybe 10% of unexplained infertility. Right.
And some common misconceptions about infertility in Nigeria. What I'm just saying right now is based on cultural biases. A lot of times, men would rather refuse to go and check themselves. They would rather feel it's the woman that is responsible. But talk to me. I mean, from your experience about these 40 years, what are some of the most common misconceptions about infertility?
Yeah, like you rightly said, it's a misconception that women are the problems. Men are usually, especially in this part of the world, men are usually not infertile. That's the idea that they make us to believe. But we all know that that's not true. Because a lot of times men will tell you, oh, I impregnated a woman when I was in school. I impregnated a woman when some years back and all that.
All right.
But because a lot of times, because the women, they are the ones that you will see that they are pregnant. You never see a man that will be pregnant. So when they get married, you are expecting the woman to be pregnant and for you to see that there is a bulging stomach or something.
Right.
And when that is not happening, everybody feels the woman is unable to conceive. Then a lot of times, some men will claim that they have impregnated someone outside. In other words, that pregnancy may not be theirs.
Oh.
And until you check yourself, that's when you probably know that, okay, maybe you are fertile or you are not fertile.
So would you...
If someone is pregnant for you, it may not be your child.
So how would you respond? I mean, some would say, well, I have done it before and the child resembles me. I mean, he looks exactly like my carbon copy. And now he's facing challenges with infertility. So would it be wrong for him to say it's the woman that is responsible?
It may not be, really. It may not be. The woman may not be responsible for that. But, even if the man says the owner of the pregnancy from another woman outside, until you do a DNA, you never can tell.
Oh, okay then. So how long should couples wait before seeking medical help for infertility?
The idea is for you to wait for a couple to wait when they have regular intercourse for 1 year. But the intercourse must be regular. It must be unprotected. So if they have done that for 1 year and nothing is happening, then they need to seek help. But again, that 1 year is for people who are below, maybe, let's say, 36 years. So if you are 36 years and above, it's better for you to just do 6 months, then you seek a medical advice.
36 years and above, you said?
Yes.
All right.
Because age is also a factor in fertility management.
All right. So let's talk about those factors now. So what are some key factors that could affect fertility in both men and women?
Well, let's say in men, we could talk about the challenges of sperm. There could be low sperm. There could be none at all. Low sperm is common. That's we talk about motility of the sperm. We talk about the morphology of the sperm. We talk about the count of the sperm.
Right.
So in this case, that's generally the problem.
So it's
Low
not just
sperm
enough.
count.
So it's not just enough, Dr. Ajayi or Counsellor Ajayi. It's not just enough for a man to ejaculate and he feels I am up to the task.
You can ejaculate and there is nothing inside the ejaculate.
You mean it?
Yes, you are just firing blank. So
Wow.
you are just ejaculating, but there is nothing, no cell, no sperm cell inside. And in that case, you cannot impregnate a woman.
Ooh. Okay. So that could be one factor. Any other factor?
Yes, for a woman, it could be from maybe blocked tubes. That's the commonest one. From blocked tubes, we have from hormonal imbalance. So when the tubes are blocked for the woman, you cannot get pregnant. Because when the man ejaculates, the sperm is supposed to travel and meet with the eggs when there is ovulation. And when they meet, when the sperm and the eggs meet, there's supposed to be fertilization in the tubes. And when the tubes are blocked, then fertilization cannot occur. So the woman cannot get pregnant, even if she's ovulating. And even if the sperm cells are right. And
Right.
the woman is ovulating, but there cannot be fertilization because the tubes are blocked. And that's the most common factor in a woman.
So
When we talk,
yes. Go ahead.
Then again, we talk about hormonal imbalance. In some women, they are not ovulating. So if the woman is not ovulating, that means she's supposed to release an egg. She's not releasing that egg. And so when the sperm comes, there is no egg for the sperm to meet and for fertilization to also take place. These are the two most common things in women: hormonal imbalance and blocked tubes.
Right. Okay, then. So I needed to talk about some of the challenges that couples face while they are waiting to conceive in the society that we are today.
There is actually a lot because when they are waiting to conceive, they face a lot of challenges in our society. The most common ones I'm just going to mention, we have emotional challenges. It's quite stressful for a couple when they're unable to have kids. Very, very stressful. Emotional roller coaster. There's ups and downs, trying to conceive, trying to, do a lot of things together and all that. Then there is also the shame that comes with it. People look at them and they're like, oh, they've been married for quite a while and they're unable to have kids. They feel that society is judging them. The family is judging them. Everyone is against them.
All right.
And they sometimes compare themselves to other people, compare themselves to friends that maybe they got married at the same time. There is social challenges also, the pressure that comes with family. When you get married in our society, especially here, when you get married and in 3 months, people are looking at you, whether you are pregnant, whether the woman is spitting, whether she's sleeping a lot, whether her tummy is coming out and all that. And if that is not coming out, if that is not happening, then everybody will begin to talk. So there is stigma that comes with that.
Okay.
And of course, there is lack of understanding. You feel left out. Your friends are celebrating birthdays of their children. You are not doing anything. You are not inviting them. And it's a lot.
Right.
It comes with a lot.
Okay, then. So for medical practitioners like you, is that where you can predict to say, look, this couple, you're looking very healthy, so in the next 1 year, there must be a baby? Or are there things that you can see that we can't?
Unfortunately, there is nothing like that. You cannot see from looking at a man and a woman. In actual fact, when you see some men, the way they are standing, you feel that, oh, this man is everything.
Right.
And you now check the sperms and there is nothing. The man has been shooting blank.
Wow.
And he's very tall, handsome, and any
TDH.
man that you can think of that you want to have as your husband.
All right. Okay. So that could be a kind of misconception sometimes, right?
It is, yes.
All right. So what should couples do then, Mrs. Ajayi? They have married. There's so much expectations. People are looking up to them. What should they do immediately they've tied a knot?
When they have tried for 1 year, like I said, or 6 months, as the case may be, then they need to seek medical advice. Let them see the doctor, let them know what the problems are, so that if there is any problem, then they can quickly do something about it. And that's where we come in. Because when you have stayed for 1 year and you're not getting pregnant and you seek medical advice, then we run some tests, know what the problems are, then we offer the necessary assistance, the necessary solution to you. Then you have options to take. Then you decide.
Okay, so is it possible for a couple to plan and say, well, we are married, but the guy is just 28, the lady 25, and they now decide that, look, we're going to have a waiting period of like 3-4 years before we begin to have our children. Is it right?
Well, they don't have to wait. They don't have to wait. They can decide to have kids immediately. But some people will tell you we want to wait for 1 year to enjoy ourselves and all that. Yes, it's okay to wait for 1 year and enjoy yourselves. But again, if there are some indications that may prevent that, like if you are 36 years and you are waiting for 1 year, what happens when you are 37 and you're unable to have kids?
Right. So let's talk about that now.
It's better to just do that early.
All right. So age plays a very pivotal role, especially for women.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
So,
yes, especially women.
So is it right when they say any lady beyond 35 is at risk giving birth? Is that correct?
Yes. To a certain extent, yes.
All right. So what role can technology play in all of this, Tola Ajayi?
Technology has come a long way. The first baby that was born through IVF was born in 1978 because the mother also had blocked tubes. So that's where IVF comes in. IVF has helped a lot of couples now. And the only thing is for you to just take the right decision, see a doctor, see a specialist, and set the ball rolling. Technology has helped a lot of people, has helped a lot of couples, whether blocked tubes, whether low sperm count, whether you are just shooting blank or, azoospermia as we call it. So technology has really, really helped a lot.
And for technology, is age still a limiting factor, especially for women?
Yes, in a way, but there is always an option.
Because I hear these days of women within 58, 59 still having their offspring.
That's where I'm actually going. Yes, because if you need to take a decision on certain things, then you take a decision, because when you are 50, then the chances of using your egg is very, very low. So you need to take a decision to use donor eggs. So technology also comes in that regard, and it will help you to achieve success.
All right. Lagos Traffic Radio on 96.1 FM. This morning, we're reflecting on how you can navigate the waiting period, practical tips for the physical and mental well-being of couples. And I'm having some messages that are coming in here for you, Dr. Ajayi. This one says, good morning, Victor. TGIF, Mrs. Ajayi, is there such a thing as over-trying when it comes to conception? Sharon is sending that one in from Onikon. Is there anything like that? Over-trying. Yes.
I don't think there's anything like over-trying, because you are supposed to have sex regularly.
Okay.
Have sex regular, because I don't know the meaning of over-trying. Over-trying maybe in terms of your sexual relationship.
Right.
You're supposed to have sex regularly, maybe like every other day or every 3 days.
So you're supposed to have that intercourse with your partner.
We cannot also say over-trying if you are not taking the right decision.
All right. Okay, this one says, good morning, Traffic Radio. How do you help couples who feel like they are running out of time? Efe is sending that one. Efe, thank you so much.
Well, if you are running out of time, I don't know what time means to you, but the most important thing for you is to take a decision, see a specialist, and have something done urgently. You are running out of time, maybe that you are 37 and above, and that using your eggs may be a challenge. So please do something urgently.
All right.
See a specialist and do something.
This one says, good morning, guys. Please, how do you handle situations where one partner is more eager or anxious than the other? Khadija is sending this one in. Khadija, thank you so much. So how do you handle those kind of situations?
It's a couple thing, and that's exactly why we are saying this, because a lot of times it's almost all the time that is the women that are into this. Some men will not even give the necessary support. So it's important for both of them to sit down and agree on the way forward. See the doctor, make a decision, and do what is right at the right time.
Right.
Don't wait until it's too late for you.
Right.
So decide. So don't be the one to say, "Oh, nothing is wrong with me. It's my wife." It's for both of you as a couple. Take that decision together.
All right. This one says, what's your advice for couples who start to feel resentment towards each other?
Well, it's a lot of problem. Yeah, that seems to happen a lot. And it's because they're not communicating. They are trading blames. So they need to sit down as a couple. This means a lot to you. You want to have kids. Make that decision. You want to have kids. Then just talk. What do you need to do? Even if the challenge is from the woman, it does not define her. If the challenge is from the man, it does not define him. As a couple, make that decision. You have signed for better, for worse.
Right.
And it's important for you to understand that you are in this together. So it's not a woman's problem. It's not a man's problem.
Great.
Take decisions together and do what is right.
This one says, Mrs. Ajayi, keep up the good work. How can couples keep intimacy alive when sex starts feeling like a chore, like a work? Thanks,
That's
Akim.
exactly, it's a major problem in infertility. Sex is the first thing that it affects, because a lot of times the doctor plans, their sexual life for them. Have sex at this period. Have sex at this period. So it's a lot of problems, it's a lot of challenge. And sometimes the man will feel, we've been having sex, you are not getting pregnant. Why should we continue to have sex?
All right.
Sometimes when I ask couple, when last did you have sex? They look at each other and they're like, it's been a while. And I ask them, why? You are having sex because you want to have babies alone?
All right.
What about intimacy? What about your relationship? Because at the same time, when you even get pregnant and you have babies, and you don't have a good relationship, then it becomes a problem also.
Right.
So you need to have a relationship, and sex is one of them.
All right,
so
so
you are not just having sex for babies, you are also having sex for your relationship.
You have cancelled over 100, or you've cancelled thousands of people in these 40 years of your adventure through this profession. Madam, talk to me. Any outstanding or perhaps very, very intriguing story that you have for us this morning?
Oh, I have quite a lot. As you just said that, I remember a couple. They are so dear to me. The way they handled their situation is actually something that Harvard should study.
Wow.
They were together in this. They're always coming for appointments together. The intimacy to them was something that you need to study. They took that to a very, very high level, and they supported one another, even though this man knew from the beginning that the woman may have challenges. Okay. They may be listening to me. The father of the lady called the man and said, "You want to marry my daughter?" The first day they met, "You want to marry my daughter? Do you know that she may not be able to get pregnant because she has hormonal imbalance?"
Wow.
And the man said, "Yes, I know about it, and we're in this together." They are not married at that time. They got married, and of course this happened. But they stayed together until they achieved success. It was quite a lot, but
How many years did it take?
I think by the time they had a baby, I think they were like 11 or 12 years.
In marriage already?
Yes, in marriage, yes.
Wow. All right. So that's good news. At least it was ending in a very, very good thing after all, despite the fact that they had challenges at the beginning.
I'm actually smiling as you are talking now, because I just could remember all that happened.
Right. All right. And you were there through it all. So definitely.
Yes, I was there. Yes, until the baby came. Great. I was even in the hospital when the baby came.
Wonderful. All right. So for those who are listening to you this morning, they want to connect with you. They like to have this kind of tips, practical tips that can also help them. How can they contact you, madam?
Oh, you can call this number 091 5709 4344. Or you can also just go on our website, nordicalagos.org.
Let me get that number again. 091
right. 57
right.
09
right.
4344.
Okay.
You can call to make inquiries, and you want to speak with me. an appointment will be made for you.
All right, then. So one of these days, we'll get into the studios and then you can talk to us much more, because I also see that you are a sex therapist. Is that correct?
Yes, you are.
Okay, then. So one of these days, we'll have you here and then you can give us some practical tips on how couples can enjoy better intimacy. Thank you so much for linking up with us this morning.
I'll look forward to that. Thank you so much for having me.
Wonderful. All right, then. So we've been navigating the waiting period for couples, practical tips for their physical and mental well-being. And taking us to the classroom this morning, Mrs. Tola Ajayi, who's a fertility counselor, a sex therapist, and a philanthropist as well. A brief break. When we return, we'll do our birthdays before we switch gears to parking matters.